Hey YouTube, what is up? SayersCreed here, and today I have a 3v3 in Total War Shogun 2. So now what I have is 3 traditional armies, myself included, and then against us we have 2 traditional armies, each on the enemy's, the enemy's flank, and then with the center they have 1 Imperial army with a bunch of these Black Bear infantry. So what my allies had opted to do was to hold this until later. He was a very, he seems like a more inexperienced player, wasn't too sure. So my ally just brought all of his infantry on my side, so we were going to hit hard through our right flank, crush Darth Revan here. He would gain the dojo here, and then my ally over here on the left flank, who according to these guys here would seem almost abandoned. He had a pretty hard-hitting force. He has a bunch of these Yari Samurai. He has, I believe, 3 of these Nodachi Samurai and a bunch of cavalry. Not sure where they are at the moment. Here they are. Light cavalry, Yari Cav. So 2 Yari Cav and a light Cav. I believe he had more, although I'm not seeing them. But anyway, on my side of the battlefield, I rush up here. I have a bunch of these Naginata warrior monks. I brought 3 of them. And then for infantry, I just brought these more cheaper Yari Samurai. Nothing special about them. They're not exactly heavy hitting force, but they can hold their own against certain units. So I do position my foot samurai here. I brought 5 of them. And they're going to be scattered more or less around this front right here. They're just going to sit right here and pepper some of these warrior monks and whatnot. So I do take an engagement here, my Yari Samurai against the Warrior Nuns. I'm going to lose that hands down, but I did pull up some cavalry here, and my ally was going to push around this flank, take out these Warrior Nuns, and then also help reinforce. But the my Yari Samurai here cracked much quicker than I thought they were going to. Plus these are spears, so as soon as these guys turn away, they can turn around and hit my cavalry. These guys are done, especially with another one coming back, a bulletproof samurai. Yeah, that whole force is going to get shut down. But my ally, luckily enough, was able to break through this left flank here. So his cavalry is now loose. All these archers are going to be getting hit soon. But he decides to first relieve these ranks here, hitting the warrior nuns in the back. Hammer and anvils getting off very well. The morale shatters almost instantly. Cavalry coming in against more of these warrior nuns and bulletproof samurai. They're just getting their initial charge off and then backing off. They're going to hit these archers. One thing I really loved about Shogun 2 was the ability to customize your units. Your banners, your general, it's always very nice. Alright. So the light cav and Naginata warrior monks come in here and take out the enemy's cavalry. Trying to see them off the battlefield. So on our side, very good. I think it went fairly well, not too many losses. Except for maybe the initial infantry engagements on for my troops on that flank. Over here, Uno sending his cavalry out to the flank. Just kind of positioning here. He does have some bow Ashigaru here. Just gonna sit on the edge of the woods. Just try to keep the enemy at bay. Maybe get a couple shots off depending on the range.
Hidden units, my lord! Treacherously meant to ambush us!
Which we're gonna see off the rest of Darth Revan's forces. So for this center player, he kind of sits back for the most of the battle. He kind of just sits here. He doesn't really move his forces. Probably a little indecisive. The most thing he does for at least contesting me and Valor here is he kind of pulls up with his carbine cavalry. And he just sits here, peppers us, keeps us at a distance, prevents us from really moving down any farther to contest his Black Bear infantry and his main rifle corps. So he does pull back with his cavalry, probably saw all these Naginata warrior monks and light cavalry in the woods. So I am going to pull up with my archers. I'm going to pull my infantry back a little bit, just so there's absolutely no chance that any stray shots will take them out. Alright. On this side, we are pulling up with our matchlock Oshigaru, Yari Samurai pulling up as well, as long as they're bows. And when you're facing something like this where the enemy just doesn't want to move, you're pretty much at a rifle disadvantage. You're going to lose if you just sit back. So he just straight up charges, which is pretty much what you're going to have to do, assuming you can. Luckily with the woods here, he did have some protection, so they weren't getting as much fire on them as they would like. Nodachi Samurai getting committed against some Yariki and Saber Cavalry. With help from the matchlocks, they are going to be able to see off this cavalry force. But once these forces get tied down, they're not really going to be able to withstand Yari Samurai and Nodachi cavalry charges. So their force is going to break fairly quickly. The enemy here, he did try to pull his forces back after we advanced up this hill. He kind of gave up this higher position. Couldn't really hold this back. There's no really... He didn't have enough firepower to properly do it. Plus with the wood there, wasn't going to go well for him.
My lord, their general has fallen! A cutting blow!
So the majority of his forces were seen off. He does have a couple stragglers here. He has a ninja force here, a couple rifles here defending the dojos. He's trying to give whatever buffs he can to his ally here in the center. Which me and my ally here, Valor, we're just going to sit up on this hill. We really wanted to wait for our other ally and all commit at the same time. So that way, Blaze dude cannot turn his rifles around in any specific direction and pop up one ally and then just turn the guns on the other. We really wanted to coordinate our assault, kind of pick off any extra targets that we could. So we do reach a bit of a stalemate here, so I'll fast forward a little bit. My ally does push up with his infantry, and I send my general and my Naginata warrior monks off to the flank, try to capture the dojo. They are not going to leave this uncontested. So I do pull up my general, try to give him an attack order, just shooting over. The carbine cav does move up. Sorry.
Our general is in grave danger, my lord!
So a bit of micro, nothing too special. Gets a couple volleys off and then falls back again. Kind of this back and forth, but you know what? We have the numbers to do this, so I figured why not. Need to pick off as much of this mobile cavalry units and any kind of guns we can. My ally, who would kind of reinforce me with that cavalry, had sent it around into the woods and over onto this flank. So now they have a complete surround. So at this point, we were kind of in chat debating how we wanted to do this. Some of us wanted to do an all-out charge. Others just wanted to pull up with our archers, plop them back behind hill, kind of skirmish them down a little bit before properly engaging. Which we do a little bit. We do pull up with some matchlocks here to contest these guys, but These matchlocks, they're just not going to end up very well. So as soon as he charges here, it kind of signals the rest of us. Excuse me. Kind of signals the rest of us to kind of assault.
Treacherously meant to ambush us.
So I do send out my infantry at this point, but as soon as we engage,
My lord,
it's just going to be
glorious victory will
death in
now
the woods.
be yours.
As soon as those rifle lines break, as soon as the lines start falling apart, they get into melee. He just didn't have enough high tier infantry to properly defend against it. All these cavalry charges, the more elite infantry, the bows that we would eventually get into position. So with that, the battle is concluded. Alright, so let's look at the end stats here. Alright, so overall, I didn't really do much as my my allies. Got roughly about half as many kills as them. But I think my force still did pretty good. I think I was good holding force for Valor here. Did a bit of the anvil for his hammer to come back and rear charge the enemy forces with Darth Revan. Darth Revan pretty much, I mean, he got kills, but he got thrashed very quickly. Vantech, he was the one that Uno was facing off on the left flank. He also got just mowed down. Blaze Dude, holding out in the center, he did okay. He was trying to cover a bunch of flanks at one time. He didn't have enough soldiers as we did in the late game. His two allies did what they could, but wasn't good enough. But he probably should have helped out his allies a little bit more. When he saw both myself and Valor pushing hard on that right flank, he probably should have either sent troops to support Darth Revan and try to hold back our advance, just plop some guns at the base of the mountain, and then fire up as our bows and infantry lined up. Or, on the other hand, he could have sent his infantry to our left flank and helped push back Uno. Because if Uno would have got taken out, it would have been more challenging for us to face off against that many rifles, as well as ninjas and I believe he maybe have sharpshooters. That's what it was. But it would have been difficult for us at that point. But anyways, guys, I'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Peace out.